Top of the morning to you. My name is Mighty Stream, and I'm going to do your June the 28th just for today in a meditation. I'm very excited to be with you. I hope you're having a beautiful morning. Okay, the title of today's meditation is Group Conscience. Working with others is only the beginning of service work. That comes from our basic text, page 59. Service work calls for a selfless devotion to carrying the message to the still suffering addict. But our attitude of service cannot stop there. Service also requires that we look at ourselves and our motives. Our efforts at service make us highly visible to the fellowship. In NA, it is easy to become a big fish in a little pond. Our controlling attitude can easily drive away the newcomer. Group conscience is one of the most important principles in service. It is vital to remember that the group conscience is what counts, not just our individual beliefs and desires. We lend our thoughts and beliefs to the development of a group conscience. Then, when that conscience arises, we accept its guidance. The key is working with others, not against them. If we remember that we strive together to develop a collective conscience, we will see that all sides have equal merit. When all the discussions are over, all sides will come back together to carry a unified message. It is often tempting to think that we know what is best for the group. If we remember that it doesn't matter if we get our way, then it is easier to allow service to be the vehicle it is intended to be, a way to carry the message to the addict who still suffers. Just for today, I will take part in the development of group conscience. I will remember that the world won't end just because I don't get my way. I will think about our primary purpose in all my service efforts. I will reach out to a newcomer. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. You know, sometimes when I take the moment of silence, I close my eyes when I get into the serenity prayer, and I can almost feel like my consciousness drop off into sleep. So sometimes, quite honestly, I have to I have to keep myself alert, keep my eyes open, and it just seems so awkward because I'm used to saying a serenity prayer with my eyes closed. So I've been up since about 3 a.m. and doing homework, but I'm really grateful to be with you today. Now, we're talking about group conscience, and I'm pretty sure most of you at this stage in your recovery, you have some understanding about what group conscience is. Even if you're not doing any service work right now, I'm sure that you have been affected by group conscience. Group conscience is the thing that takes place in business meetings when a vote is necessary on a particular topic, and all members from the group that attend the business meeting are welcome to have a say or a vote. And generally speaking, they require that you have made at least 2 consecutive meetings before you vote on a topic. The reason for that is that, as you know, the format right? For service work for the business meeting, the format generally has old business, right? It has the agenda and it has old business listed there and it has new business listed there. And it gives opportunity for every committee to give its own report, right? The secretary has a report, the treasurer will have a report, the chair of chairs will have a report, right? And all of these committees, they have the main person, then they have a co-chair or an assistant treasurer or co-treasurer, co-secretary, right? Even the GSR will have hopefully a GSRA, which means their assistant. Okay. So when these reports are being given in the business meeting, if the main individual is not available, then the co is expected to deliver the report. Now, when a vote is taken on a particular topic, generally there has already been some level of discussion. So it comes in as old business, and it oftentimes goes to a vote. And when it goes to a vote, those group members that have been attending the business meetings for 2 consecutive meetings are considered to be knowledgeable about what the topic is. They have been present and heard, right? The different opinions about this particular topic. And because they've been faithful in coming to the business meeting, they are considered to be in a position to give a knowledgeable vote, right? They're not in the dark about it. They're not just showing up because they have an attitude and now they want to vote on something. Generally speaking, the group itself will have stipulations about who can vote. And most of the time, the way that it used to be was that you had to be present at least for 2 consecutive meetings in order to have your vote counted. Some places they may adjust that, right? Because it's group conscience again as to what the format is and what the rules are for voting. So most people, the point that I'm making, have been affected by group conscience without maybe even realizing it. Maybe there's literature at your meeting that is available to be sold. Well, that was a group conscience that was decided at a business meeting that the seventh tradition would provide literature. But some groups don't have enough money for that. And so they're not going to have all of that literature on the table. You're going to have to order it yourself. Maybe their group conscience or the seventh tradition is so small that they barely can pay their rent. They can barely have coffee available. And so even drinking the coffee that you get when you go to a meeting has been at some point in time a decision made by group conscience. Do you know that there's some meetings in my area that do not provide any beverage? If you want something to drink, you need to bring that something with you. Now, there's some meetings that are held in places that the only thing that is allowed in the building is water. That's not a group conscience. That is a stipulation of the building that the meeting room is being rented from, that you can only have this in your meetings as a beverage. We don't want any coffee stains. We don't want any red pop stains. You all can have water and that's it, and that's all. Okay. So just to make that clear, maybe to individuals that, what is this group conscience? This is something that is very operative in the business meeting. And one of the things that, like it says here, it is such an important principle, but one of the things that has to happen for group conscience to work is everyone that has a vote should bring their vote, yay or nay, okay? And because we believe in group conscience. Whatever the majority have voted, whatever the majority has voted, is what the decision will be. Do you know sometimes things go a certain direction, a certain decision is made just because there was one vote more for it or against it than the opposite? Do you know how many people have had to shove or stuff their pride as a result of a group conscience decision that did not go the way they wanted? But we are committed to that, right? And yeah, they may gossip later and have an attitude later, and maybe even their sponsor has to step in and say, hey, this is group conscience. When it went your way last year, you didn't have a problem, but now this year, it didn't go your way that you wanted and you have a problem. No, this is group conscience. And you don't have a right to um, tarnish the reputation of the group because it did not go the way that you wanted. It was a group conscience, meaning that no one person decided, the majority vote ruled. So I just want to share that with you because it's not easy. It is kind of the nuts and bolts behind the scenes when we're doing service work. And I just encourage you, if you are interested, you can always make a business meeting. You can make a business meeting anywhere you want to because you are a member of Narcotics Anonymous. That may not be your home group, and so your vote should you should actually refrain from voting in a business meeting where you are not a group, a home group member. And sometimes people will show up after years. I've had this happen. I showed up at a meeting that has always been my home group, but I no longer make it because of some of the confusion that has come about over the years. But I remember a few years ago making that meeting and it needed a chairperson. I mean, we were behind time and there was no one to chair that meeting. So around 7:05, I just jumped in the chair and started to chair the meeting because I know the format like the back of my hand. I've done it for years and I am an old timer, right? And so I remember the treasurer approaching me after the meeting and saying, "Are you a home group member?" I said, "My name is still in that book, and until I remove it, yes." Right? So he was trying to make sure, right, that as a chairperson for that meeting, that I was a home group member. And he probably, because he hadn't seen me in so long, didn't expect me to still have that cohesiveness with my first home group. So that's just my story. I'm sticking to it. Family, my name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you. I hope that you will have a beautiful day on purpose. I hope that you will consider doing service work because the spirit of rotation, the more of us make that get involved with service work, the better it is for us all. Have a beautiful day, and I will be talking to you tomorrow.